So I do a lot of teacher trainings, and we always ask a question at the beginning of the training. What is yoga? It's a pre-training assignment that people need to write about. And inevitably, people write a lot about the physical practice of yoga. They say yoga is, a multi-thousand-year-old practice of physical postures, linking breath and movement. All of that is true. But there's really a bigger definition of yoga that the physical postures can lead us to, but don't necessarily lead us to. In the Yoga Sutra, Patanjali defines yoga as the restraint of the fluctuations of the mind. Meaning, when you practice yoga, and the goal of yoga, the experience and the effort is to quiet the mind. And in this day and age, that's actually quite challenging.
It's really hard to talk about yoga. You have to experience it. It's really hard to make it analytical, although in the end it's for the mind. It can't be at the beginning. You have to feel it in your cells.
Maybe you've experienced being on top of a mountain, for instance, and getting very quiet, and in that looking out at the vista and sensing your place in the whole. And it's a very quieting, wonderful feeling that you may have of wholeness. So that may be an experience of yoga.
Yoga, as Chanel said, she said it doesn't really matter what clothes you wear or the mat you have. It shouldn't matter how much money you have. It shouldn't matter, what color you are, what gender you are. It should be a practice that is an internal practice that should be for everybody. It's the art of stilling the mind, right? Stilling the fluctuations of the mind enough that you can begin to listen and pay attention.
It's like trying to somebody say, what's the definition of love?
Yeah.
How do you define that?
Yeah.
You can't define it. Yeah. And I remember reading years ago, it was some studio had opened, it wasn't in Boston, so don't worry. And they said, our goal is to demystify yoga. I was thinking, what a shame. The mystery is it.
Mystery.
So most of us come to yoga through the physical practice, the postures called asana, and that's certainly what captivated me. But over time, I think you start to understand that really, in addition to all of the enormous physical benefits, yoga makes you stronger, it makes you more flexible, you breathe more easily, you sleep better, you digest better. All kinds of good things happen when you do the physical practice of yoga. But along the way, you also start to understand that the practice of yoga is really about training your mind as much as you're training your physical body.
I feel like students come in the door for many, many different reasons. As more of the medical community has begun to see the benefits of yoga, I see more people who come in the door telling me that they have been sent by their doctors. Then they go on to find out, oh, there might be other things that they want to address within themselves. They begin to look deeper inside.
I think that people who are coming to yoga today are actually coming for the spiritual side of it. When I started, my back hurt. I just wanted to have my back feel better. I strongly did not want to know anything about yoga philosophy. I wanted to know nothing about the spiritual side of it. I actually asked every class for a week to the students, why did you start practicing yoga? And to a person, they said, for some spiritual transformation.
And just to elaborate a little bit on that, one of the things that I see in my classes is that younger people are coming to my classes, and they are very earnest, more mature than younger people some years ago, and they are really hungry for yoga philosophy. And that's a change I see in the last 10 years.
It's very important to teach the first limb of yoga, the yamas, because I think that people, that earnestness that Patricia's talking about, if you paraphrase it sort of, that it's, you know, to be kind, to be honest, to be generous, to be respectful, and to lead a simple life, you instill those, you take that in and you contemplate it on your mat, it inevitably makes its way out into your life. And I was teaching out at Kripalu this weekend, and after the class, a woman came up and she said, by the end of the class, I wasn't really thinking about what I'd learned about asana this weekend. I was thinking about what I've learned how to put this into my life.